the old adult ed room.
Okay, everybody ready? Call the meeting to order.
And then to the life skills room.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Out of control as usual. Okay, welcome everybody. We'll start with the roll call vote, please.
Callahan? Here. Houston?
Here.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore's excused. Persader?
Here.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Here.
The next we move to the approval of the agenda. We're going to remove item 6C from the agenda. Other than that, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Next, we move to public comment. Is Dave, any cards back there? No? No, Mayor. Anything from you that you know of? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on then to the consent agenda. The consent agenda, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda that approves the following. The minutes from the August 14, 2023 regular meeting, the Heartland Acres Agribition Center Class C retail alcohol license with outdoor service effective September 1, 2023 through August 31, 2024, and Pat's Tap Class C retail alcohol license with living quarters and outdoor service effective September 1, 2023 through August 31, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Next, we move to the approval of the claims. First, I need a motion to approve the claims for payment.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to the claims?
Yeah, I had a question on the Baltic Networks for 1894. What's,
Baltic
What is that?
Network, do you know what that is?
That was some computer equipment for City Hall.
okay. And then Biblionics LLC services for 3370.
I assume that that's
the
library?
library claim.
Yeah.
Okay. I assumed when I saw Bibli that it was, but I just wasn't sure.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other? Okay, this then would be all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. Next, we move to the financials themselves. This is for discussion and information. Anybody have any questions with regard to the financials? Hearing none, we'll move to item C, which is the revenues and expenses to date. Again, this is for discussion information. Anybody have any questions with regard?
Going back to the revenue and expenses to date, do you suppose that we could get, we have a breakdown by department. Can we get a consolidated revenue and expense statement?
I don't know, is that something that our software can do where it puts all the departments on one sheet?
I can, but it'll pretty much look exactly like what you have.
What is it you're looking for, Tom?
I guess I'm just wanting, okay, so like truck expense or vehicle expenses for each department. There's a separate line item for each department for that?
Right.
Wow.
It
We have to do that.
with governmental accounting, it has to be broken out like it is to keep track of things. You can't.
Okay,
If we could have it simple, I would be all in favor.
I know,
But I can't. It's
I
got to
know.
be broken down.
I know. Okay.
So, Tom, in doing that, what would you be looking for, just to see how much of our budget goes towards certain?
Yes, I'd like to see, because I know that there's, in 1 month, for instance, a department may overspend on a line item, but overall, we might be okay budget-wise. And I had a question with Susie on one thing. If we would have the total for like vehicle expense for on one line item for all the departments, see what budget, expense, and revenue and/or revenue. It would be a
somebody going
lot,
Okay, so somebody going over, it would just kind of meld into whether we're ahead or behind or totally
yeah,
that.
It
yeah,
would
it'd
work
be,
in theory, but we can't do that with governmental accounting because things are
Sure.
broken by function. So you have police, fire, and building as one function. So if you look at like the bank rec reports, there is a function report that groups them all together, but it's not broken out by line item.
yeah.
And Susie, I don't know but are there certain things that like you can't use certain dollars for? I know in the school
Yep.
district there are. that
There's certain
funds.
things that are restricted, but if you would want to see like just like everybody's vehicle expense lines, I can run a report like that. You just have to send me an email.
Yeah, no, it's not achieving what I want, so don't do it. Okay, never mind. Moving along.
Good thought, though, Tom.
Then moving along, we'll move to Agenda Item 4, which is hearing and ordinances. We're going to start with the 2023 Legislative Code changes for alcohol and tobacco. So first, I need a motion to approve the first reading of an ordinance that amends the provisions pertaining to liquor licenses and cigarette and tobacco permits.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Before we vote on it, I want to make sure that everybody understands that the reason for this is that the legislature has made changes. And in order to make, because the legislature has made changes, we need to change our ordinances to conform with the state rules to be in compliance. So that's why it's important that we move forward with this as soon as we possibly can, because right now we're out of compliance because of the fact that the legislature has actually changed things. So other discussion with regard to this particular ordinance.
Was July 1st the effective date of this?
We're behind.
We're seriously out of compliance.
So my question would be, is this something that we'd want to look at as far as not doing the 3 readings, just to get us in compliance?
After you guys approve the first reading, we can waive the second and 3 readings, but I would need everybody to vote yes in order to,
Do that.
Excellent.
in theory, get it approved tonight, but it really doesn't go in effect until it's published in the paper. So,
But we are not following state mandates at this time because we don't have the right.
But why didn't we do it earlier then?
Well,
we can't do it any earlier because it's, once the legislative session ends, that's when they know how things need to be changed. So it's always a month or 2 behind.
But just, we would need to get it into place as soon as possible, I would guess.
right, that's the ideal way. I mean, if you look at your package, you'll see the legislative changes themselves that affect the city codes. They're in there, and then also there's also a legislative summary from Simmering Corey and regarding the Iowa codification in there as well that explains that information to everybody.
So if we would have a business that would be trying to follow state code, but they would be not following city code, is kind of what you're saying?
Well, they still have to follow they'd have to follow the state code first.
That supersedes everything.
Supersedes everything.
Everything else.
Well, other than the federal, but,
Yeah.
yeah. Right. So
So federal code supersedes state. Okay.
state supersedes city, city supersedes
Okay.
committee or
Makes sense.
whatever. Yes. Okay, so any further discussion with regard to the motion? Okay, then I need a roll call vote on that, please.
Houston,
Yes,
Hannah,
Yes.
Prasada,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next, this is optional. Does anybody want to make a motion that the statutory rule requiring an ordinance be considered and voted on for passage at 2 council meetings prior to the meeting in which it's finally suspended, or it's finally passed, to be suspended?
so moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to that topic?
I think the sooner we're in compliance with the state, the better.
That's my thoughts too, Mike.
Okay, then that would be a roll call vote.
Hannah,
Yes.
Prasada,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes,
That passes 6-0. Now that we've placed us in a position where we can actually vote on this as the final resolution itself, now I need a motion to have this ordinance that amends the provisions pertaining to liquor licenses and cigarette and tobacco permits be placed for final,
Nat, sorry.
thought she's smacking me. Sorry. Cigarette and tobacco permits be placed on its final passage for adoption pursuant to Iowa Code Section 380.3. First, I need the motion.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to this? Hearing none, we move to the roll call vote then.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next, we move to item B, which is the 2023 legislative change with regard to fiscal management. Again, I need a motion to approve the first reading of an ordinance that amends the provisions pertaining to fiscal management.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Again, this is the same situation where they've made changes, and in this particular instance, they've changed the way that our budget is being done and the way that we calculate the budget. So that's why this is, and we have the same information in terms of there's a memorandum from Susie. There's also the changes that they're proposing, and then also the legislative summary, which also includes that part of it. So any further discussion with regard to the changes with regard to fiscal management?
So again, with
Ideally, yes.
Okay.
Ideally, yes. So first, we have to pass it under the first reading, so we'll do a roll call vote on that unless there's further discussion with regard to this. Hearing none, let's do the roll call then.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Houston.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
Passes 6-0 also. Again, this is optional. Does anybody want to make a motion that the statutory rule regarding an ordinance to be considered and voted on for passage at 2 council meetings in which it's finally passed to be suspended?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to that?
What we.
And it's more of an administrative change. It's just a, they changed the process, so we just have to change our process, so.
To conform, right. Okay, that's a roll call vote then.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Houston.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Now the motion itself to have the ordinance that amends the provisions pertaining to fiscal management be placed in its final passage for adoption pursuant to Iowa Code Section 380.3. First, I need the motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to this? Hearing none, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Callahan. Yes. Houston.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Also passes 6-0. Move to the resolutions. First one is A, which is a resolution. I need a motion to approve a resolution to provide for a notice of hearing on the proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the baseball, softball complex field turf project, and the taking of bids therefore.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. So this is setting this for hearing on September the 25th, 2023 at 5 o'clock p.m. And this would be for the approval of the specifications, the form of the contract itself, and the estimate for the complex turf project. So further discussion with respect to this topic.
Could you remind me how this part of this is out of what funds and what funds and what funds? If you could just remind me of.
Sure.
So Susie, correct me if I'm wrong, but 100,000 of this is ARPA money.
ARPA
Five-
money, okay.
500 is from the bond issuance that we did this spring,
Okay.
the general obligation debt, and the remainder is fundraising that Bob is working on.
And he also has some money in his capital improvement fund that he's going to be using for this as well.
Okay, and
Yeah.
how's he doing on the fundraising?
We can't give specifics because it's not all public knowledge yet, but we
Okay.
understand that we had approximately $175,000 come in on it in the last week or so.
Wow, okay,
Or it's
perfect.
committed to it. I don't know whether it's actually committed. or not.
Between commitments and grants,
Right.
Okay,
but we can't, it's not public yet, so we can't disclose that.
But we're definitely moving in the right direction.
We're in a good position.
okay. Perfect, thank you.
So then Get killed by this fly here. Roll call vote, please.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Prasad,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next, we move to the item B, which is the necessary transfer transaction resolution. I need a motion to approve a resolution that authorizes a necessary transfer transaction from the General Fund 001 to the Economic Development Fund 160.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. The memo that Susie, that Susie put out talks about, this is primarily the downtown housing grant involving Hardware Hanks, and so what we're doing is we're moving the portion of the money that we have committed to that from our general account to our Economic Development Fund account, so that when it's time to make that payment, we can make that payment. So that's the purpose of this. Any further discussion with regard to that?
Now, does this mean that we're almost done with all that? I mean, that those are ready to be,
No, we're fulfilling our match to the grant.
okay. So it doesn't have anything to do with completion of the project?
No.
Not yet.
Okay. So how do we, if we pay this money out, how do we assure that this gets completed? And
Iowa Economic Development Authority, they have to do a walkthrough on it to make sure it's complete. They need some funds to keep the project moving, so.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that there was some oversight with things.
Isn't there, isn't our local incentive is 52,475 on top of the 50, right? So we're only transferring over the money for our initial money. The other money's held.
Correct.
So the other money be held until such time as the project's finished or not?
So the city dedicated 10 parking spots at 5,000. So it's cash or in-kind services. So
Okay,
we've got 50,000 already taken care of for parking. Now it's the cash and in-kind, the remaining 52.
The total obligation on behalf of the city was $102,475.75.
right,
Okay.
okay.
$50K, that was the parking lot. This $52,475 is the remainder of that piece that we need to do. And there was an additional $50,000, not to muddy the waters, but there was an additional $50,000 that came from LEAF, which is through Indy Power.
But as long as there's still oversight, it can be.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then another note, at some point in time, couldn't we talk about the parking spaces? Because I know we dedicated 10, but we don't have a whole lot of parking spaces, and that's something maybe on our next session.
Any further discussion? Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Any further discussion with regard to this motion then? Okay, roll call vote then.
Hannah,
Yes.
Prasad,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next, item C is a motion to approve a resolution that approves the contract and performance and/or payment bonds for the North Aircraft Apron Parking Project. First, I need the motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Okay. So we've actually signed the documents. We haven't.
At the last meeting, we awarded the contract. Now we have the contract and bonds and all the blanks have been filled in. Now we just need authorization to sign the contract and payment.
Okay. Any further discussion with regard to that? Okay, hearing none, move to a roll call vote then.
Prasad,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next, we move to the other business, item 6. The first one is a change order number 4 involving the police station remodel. I need a motion to approve a change order 4 for the police station the police department station remodel in a deduct of $2,093.60. First, I need the motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. So as we were going on with the project, we've made some reductions due to the fine work by our police chief in terms of how he's handling things, and as a result of that, the change order is subtracting $2,093.60 from what we previously approved for this. I think that's okay. Everybody willing to take money back, and is that okay with everybody? Any further discussion with regard to this? And a roll call vote.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Houston.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Brusader.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next, item 6B, which is a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the order that accepts the settlement agreement from Casey's 2239 for a first violation of Iowa Code Section 453A2, which is the tobacco violation.
Weren't you skipping that one?
No, I'm skipping
No,
C.
So
C? Okay.
Second.
I have a
Okay.
motion and a
I've got a
second.
question on that one then.
On tobacco violation?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you have the motion?
Yes, I
I
have
have a motion and a second.
A
Yes.
motion and a second. Says the recommended action from Casey's number 2239, but when you open up the memo, it refers to Walmart.
It does. It
Yes.
says Walmart.
It's supposed to be Casey's. I used the Walmart one. I must have missed it.
So before it's signed, it needs to be changed.
Well, no.
That's just the memo that
That's
explains.
just the memo.
Oh, that's just the memo, okay.
I
Yeah.
used the Walmart one because it's the exact same situation. I just must have missed.
The Walmart.
Missed the reference.
I
to
missed a
Walmart.
name.
See, we really do read what you send us, just so you know.
Further discussion with regard to that? Roll call vote then.
So
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
we're good and we can still approve it.
Yeah, that's just the memo is more of an internal document, so
Right.
I just.
Cool.
The motion is the
All
important
right.
part, and the motion was read correctly as Casey's 2239, so.
All right.
Roll call vote, please.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Houston.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Brusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Okay, we're skipping item C. So next we move to council member reports. Is there anybody that has anything specific that they would want to report on at this meeting?
I just saw that congratulations to the 2023 Summer Reading Program winners. I thought that was kind of a neat thing to see. I think our library does a tremendous job of meeting the needs of our community.
I'd agree.
Yeah, and also our police force, our sheriff, everybody that responded to the MHI crisis the other day, of which I was unaware of until it was all over, but apparently they did a great job of helping us out. Thank you.
Any further on this side?
I sit on the senior citizen board up there, and they're going to be moving out to the public health building. And they have applied for 3 grants. One comes due in September, November, and so they can put a dock out around back. And they've got some, 2 banks gave some pretty good chunks of funds. They get these-
Like a handicap ramp, dock?
No, I think
Oh, an
it's-
unloading dock.
Yeah.
Delivery?
Yeah, so that looks like that's all going pretty good.
Good.
Any talk of what's going to happen with that building at all?
They want to sell it.
Oh, do they?
The old Jack and Jill building?
No, the food pantry.
Oh, food pantry.
Is the food pantry building itself in the floodplain itself, so that you can't build anything else there?
Floodplain or zone.
It is in the floodplain.
Anything else from council?
Couple of updates. Good one, positive. Got our youngest son married off, and everything went fine, and they even kissed in public. Not, there was concern about that, but they kissed numerous times, so we were very happy about that. I did take it upon myself to analyze the poop that was on the Liberty Trail and send it down to the DCI forensics lab. Came back, one of the samples was deer poop, the other one was bird poop. So now we really have a problem. And
Thanks.
we've got a wildberry problem on that stretch too.
Cut those down.
It's a berry very bad problem. Maybe we
We've
could
got a
talk
bad
about,
joke problem. too, with it.
maybe we could talk about that at the workshop.
That would be a good place for that kind of
Thank you.
conversation, Tom.
Susie, you have anything?
If I did, I don't remember what it is right now. I didn't write it down, so no.
Matt, did you have anything?
I just wanted to update the council. We've had a lot of discussion recently about code violations in town and issues and things that need to be cleaned up. And we have, between myself and Todd, we've sent a list of 12 different properties to our attorneys to have abatements ordered on those properties to try to make some progress on those. So we've moved to a different attorney within Lynch Dallas that we think will be a little bit more responsive, a little bit quicker on things. So what we're trying to do is get things in front of a judge, let the judge make the decision.
Is that the house condition or the yards or what?
It's a variety of different things. Some of them were ones where there's 2 garages on a property, which doesn't meet our code, or 2 garages that are falling down that need to be removed. There's a couple that are abatements where the house needs to be removed. One of them is the one up on 10th Street that we talked about before, related to whether or not the city wanted to take the property or not, and we're not doing that, so we're pushing it through this process. So, anyway,
Anything else?
just want to let everybody know that the last week, Todd has gotten 5 different vehicles removed from town on 2 different properties where there was vehicles that shouldn't have been there. Both of them were positive situations where he went and met with the homeowner, and the homeowner just was not aware.
Good.
So, it's good to hear those.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
I think that could happen quite a bit if you just,
Yep.
You send a kid off to college or something and their old car sits there, or, you know.
This afternoon, Matt and I participated in a project launch meeting for the child care market analysis. So that's going to start moving forward. The expectation is that we'll have, the committee will have the electronic survey information out within the next couple of weeks. We'll be then analyzing that, meeting with the group of employers that we have to talk about the various different issues that we're expecting with the surveys, and then the surveys are expected to open up on October 1st for 4 weeks, and at that point, we'll have information hopefully back that will allow us to be able to be in a position to move forward with other grants, because we'll have a better idea what the community need is specifically for childcare, as opposed to just guessing about it.
I've heard nothing but positive things about moving forward with that.
We're looking forward to, we were hoping to do it a little sooner, but it's finally here, so we're looking forward to moving it along. I don't have anything further, so I need to, I'm sorry, go ahead, Brian.
One question I thought of, Mayor, as you were talking, Susie, have we seen an influx of emails or forms being filled out in regards to waste management? Okay,
Yes.
good. People are responding, that's good.
And I would continue to encourage the council
Right.
to help get that word out, that resource is out there so that we can track that data. The really nice thing about it is everything that gets collected via that form ends up in a spreadsheet for us, so then we can actually do some real analysis with it,
Okay.
so.
I also want to thank John Kurtz. He did some research on some of the contracts and some of the issues that we had in the past, and he's brought over a bunch of documents for Matt and I to review regarding what our what are the contracts and what some of the negotiations and some of the other issues regarding that as well. So we'll be evaluating that as well as we move forward with the process. Yep. If there's nothing further, I need a motion to.
So moved.
Oh, Dave, did you have something?
I'll wait until the 5th. We don't.
You're going to take the 5th?
The next week.
Before we adjourn there,
Yes.
I was going to ask Mark to come up. Fill us in on Fifth Avenue Southwest, how they're coming. I saw work being done today, and I would ask that maybe with the large semi and flatbed, that they're parking on Fourth Avenue instead of Sixth Avenue, when they're working on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, so what Councilman O'Loughlin's referring to is the Iowa-based milling was in today and did the milling for the 2023 street rehabilitation project. So that was on 5th Avenue Southwest, 4th Avenue Northeast, and 5th Street Southeast. They did get all the milling done today. Yeah, when the laydown machine comes with the asphalt, I'll make them aware of trying to stay off 6th Avenue. I didn't know that they had parked that machine over there. I thought they had that on one of the east-west streets. So the milling went well, and they are going to have that all cleaned up by the end of the day today, and then The asphalt subcontractor will be in on Thursday and Friday. And also, on another project, the 12th Street storm sewer, Bowker Pinnacle Mechanical was in today and continued to lay storm sewer along 12th, so that project's progressing as well.
The fairgrounds one.
Yep, that's right.
Are all these going to be finished by what's the time estimate?
I think one of them is October 1st and one's October 15th, but they'll be done well ahead of that, unless we get a serious amount of rain real fast.
Mark. Don't be jinx it.
So,
Okay.
any other questions?
Thank you,
Okay,
Mark.
thanks.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to dismiss.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Good job, Jen.
All right, adjourn, 6-0.